Hello everyone. In this video, I'll be explaining about Python. Like what I'm talking about in this video will be Python variables and how you can code on your phone and your laptop. I believe I've already explained to us how we can download Anaconda where you can have access to Jupyter Notebook as like the one I'm using right now. So if we don't really get the concept of downloading Anaconda on our system, we can maybe check on YouTube to check on how you can download Anaconda and install it. Though if you just type it on Google, Anaconda, it's going to bring a link where you can download it, and I think I've dropped that on the WhatsApp page before. Then also, if you are using mobile phone, you can just search for Colab Google or Google Colab. So when you search for Google Colab, it's going to bring something like this. So when you click on this, it's going to bring. So when you click on that, it's already loading. Have been like I use it too, and I use Jupyter Notebook too. This one you don't necessarily need to install Anaconda on your system. So you just click on new notebook, especially when you are using phone. So when you click on notebook, it's going to load now and show you how you could like it will display like it's just like the same environment. Can you see now? So if I said print, it's just that this one you cannot use it without internet. So if I just say print hello world, it's going to show me hello world, but this is using internet. But when you are using a Jupyter notebook from Anaconda, that one is not using internet. It's like an offline. You can see the way it's connecting. It's until get connected. That's when it's going to give me the output of my code. So if you are using phone, you can easily use this, or you can download PyCharm. Abi PyDroid. I think sorry, we can download PyDroid. This is, I think this should be the correct spelling of it. So this Python 3 ideally. So on Play Store, you just go on Play Store and go and download PyDroid 3. PyDroid 3. PyDroid, then 3. Just go and download it. You can actually use it to practice. So you can see now, once this got connected, it's print hello, or if I had hello world. So it's just like the same way in which the way we use Jupyter Notebook from Anaconda. And if you don't really know how to download Anaconda, how you can install just like this Jupyter Notebook from Anaconda. If you don't really know how to do this, please go on YouTube to search for how you can download and install Anaconda on your system, because like I think it's a straightforward process, but if we are still confused about how to install it, we can go on YouTube to check on how to download it on our operating system, either macOS, Windows or Linux. So when after installing it, so here this is where you can, like for a new person that you are just starting out, so you can just click new and click on Python. It will it will display a working a notebook environment where you can code. But now, like, let me just, I can actually try it out so that you can see what I'm saying. So you see it's loading now, so it's going to display a notebook, but I already have the folder I want to use already on my system, so I don't really need to work with this. I'm just trying to show us what we can see. So you see now, when I click on that new Python, it displays something like this. So the way I did it there, I can just say print hello world 2, just the same way. Okay, you see now, print hello world, just like the way I did it in that in Google Colab, so it display hello world. So that's just what I want to show. Then let me go to today business. So I already have this folder on my desktop folder. So I call it Ajan Python class. So today I will be talking about Python variable. So you see that it's going to display to it's going to come up now. So we can see. So today I will start by introducing us to what is programming, what is Python, everything we need to know as upcoming Python developer. So what is programming? Programming is a way to instruct the computer to perform various tasks. So anytime you are instructing your computer, it's just like, the way we can, like the way we can interact with our system is through a medium. It's just like the way I can communicate with you is either if you are a Yoruba person, I speak Yoruba to you, or if you are Igbo or Hausa, if I don't know that language to communicate with you, it will be very very difficult. I may be communicating with you, but you will not understand what I'm saying. So to make this effectively, I have to understand the language you understand too, for us to effectively communicate to one another. So programming is also like a means where, like a way we instruct our computer to perform various tasks. Then what is this Python programming? Programming is just the way we instruct computer to do a various tasks. And this programming can be in different forms of language, because we have different kind of language like Python, Ruby, Ruby on Rails, we have Java, we have C++, we have C. We have different kind of language. So, and one of those language is Python programming that we want to focus, that our focus is on this particular course of study. So Python programming is a high level general purpose language, and it's designed like Python is high level general purpose programming language. So is a high level general purpose language where you can use it for different kind of things, not like other language that are like maybe Java, that is only used for a specific thing. So when it comes to Python, like Java for example, is used to build 100 app. But when you talk about Python is a general purpose language. It's used in different fields, and I'm going to show us those fields. Like I'm going to give an examples of the area and aspects where we can use this Python, and also is philosophy emphasize on code readability. Like compared to other language, Python is very simple in reading and in writing. Like when you see Java, the time I started learning Java, I have to run away just because of the complex syntax and a lot of things you have to write before you get things done. So, but when it comes to Python, it's very simple and straightforward. You will see, I'm going to display and I'm going to teach us how we can code, and you see that it's very very simple, just like English language. You just have to add some stuff to it. So Python is dynamic types and garbage collector. So just when they say garbage collector, what you give it, that's what it's going to give you. Like I said, print hello world, that's garbage in, and it will give you print out hello world. So, and Python is one of dynamic type language, and it supports programming paradigm, just like it supports structured part, it supports object oriented, and it supports functional programming. So especially because there are some language that only support object oriented, they don't support the structure part, and they don't really support the function part. The language that you can't write anything without declaring a class, like showing a class, like they are specifically object oriented, so you can't go, like you can't, they are not structured, and you can't, they don't support functional type. So applications of Python programming language, like I said, is a multi-purpose or multi-general language that you can use anywhere. So one of those area is web development. Like if you are good in Python, writing Python code, you can divert it to Python to web development. Also, you can use Python for game development. You can use it to develop game. You can use Python for machine learning and artificial intelligence. You can use it for data science and data visualization, just like data analysis and data science. That's what that number 4 means. You can also use it to develop desktop application. That's what GUI really means. Then also, you can use this Python for web scraping. Like maybe you are a data scientist, or maybe you later end up doing data engineer, because Python is also used for data engineer. They use it for data analysis, they use it for data science. So maybe you need the data and you don't really get it, like, and what the only option is you scraping that website, like you scraping websites to get data. So Python is still one of the powerful tools or application, like programming language, that you can use to scrape website to get data. Then business application, you can also use Python to build business application. You can use it for audios and video application. All these are videos and audio app, you can use Python to build them. You can use card application, then embedded application. All these embedded system, though C and C++ are the best programming language for doing that, but Python also can do it if you want to use it. So I'm just letting us to know that this language is diverse. Like if you are really good using it, you can divert, like you can pick, even you can pick up to 2 3 out of this. So but basically, machine learning and artificial intelligence, like, is still one of the top rated language for that, and also data science and data visualization. Because some other side also web development, like all this backend, fast API, Django, Flask, I don't know, maybe you've heard about it. You can just pick what interests you, or you learn more about them, so that you know the one you really like. But I'm just letting us know that if you really know this language, there are a lot of, like, you have, there are a lot of, like, it's diverse, you can use it anywhere. So after that being said, let's move on. So Python variable, if we are talking about Python, I've been introducing us to the applications and the definition, but one of the major, like one of the important things that we also need to consider is Python variable. And variables are container, like the definition of variables are container for storing data, just like normal containers. What we use it for in our day-to-day activities, like we store something inside a container, like you put in something. So this also is just like variable in Python. Variables are containers for storing data. So anytime you want to store data, you need a variable, because a variable is where you can store your data. Then this, I just want to show us variable creation. So after being said, Python is a container, I have to display how that, because the first time you heard Python variable is a container, you'll be looking, maybe maybe you are thinking that is it the normal container we use at home or something, but it's just like, it's just, we are just using it to we are relating the meaning of that Python variable to the container that we use, and just like it performs similar function. So like A, now A is a variable name, and we are storing this Python inside this quotation in this A, and we are storing 40.7 in this B, while we are storing this 2 in X, then we are storing this 4 in Y. So just like after storing them, so if I just say, just like A equals to Python, B equals to 40.7, X equals to 2, Y equals to 4. So if I just said, if I just say print, let me say, okay, I think I've, okay, can you see now? If I said print A, okay, this is giving me error just because I've not run this cell. So if I said print A, it's print Python, just because A is a container that store Python. If I said print B, B is also a container that we use to store 40.7. So variable name is a container where we store our data. Then this variable name too has rules for that will follow, because this programming language, if they has some certain rules that will follow, because if you don't follow all these rules, it will be very difficult for you to code, and you will just be encountering error every time. So you have to, it's just like when you write an essay or letter writing during our English classes and the likes. So if we use what we are not meant to use, you see that they are going to circle it. That shows you are going against the rule. So in Python too, to really be a good programmer, you have to understand the rules that guide naming. And even apart from naming, there are still a lot of rules that guide some certain topic and some certain concept aspects in Python. So the first rule is variable name must start with a letter or the underscore character. So anytime you want to start a variable name, always start it with letter. Don't start it with number. So you start it with either letter or underscore. Then also you start a variable name, like your variable name must not cannot start with a number, like I said the other time. So a variable name can only contain alphanumeric, like alphabet and numeric, just like num1, like I think I make some like I use some just like this num1. This is alphabet and number. So it can be in form of alphanumeric characters, and you can use underscore at times if you like. So variable names are case sensitive. Like look at for example age. Age, the first age starts with small letter while the second starts with capital letter. If you assign just like okay now see age equals to 25, you store 25 in age, and if I change that first a to maybe like this and I said print this, it's going to give me error just because I did not like it did not recognize this, because it only recognized small letter a, age. But this age too is actually correct, but just because it's case sensitive, this will not work. So anytime you are coding or you are using variable, always take note of the case you are using, or maybe it's upper case or lower case, so that it won't like you will not be encountering error. So always be conscious and always see. Can you see now name age is not divine, because Python does not understand this. So also name, like I just use this. So like I said, use underscore. You can either use underscore, just like if I said underscore equals to okay 34, and I said let me just say print underscore. So can you see it's 34 without an error. But if I said 1 equals to Victor, and I said print 1, just like I'm using number, so it will give me 1. Like it gave me error, cannot assign to literal, just because we cannot start it with number. Also, if there must not be a space in between your naming variable, num1 is a variable name that store these two. And also we want to create a variable name that is, because a variable name does not have a length, does not have any length. So you can make it descriptive as you like, or you can make it short anyhow you like. So anytime you are writing something that will be very, it's just like, can you see a variable can have a short name like x and y, or more descriptive name like age, car name, total, volume. So anytime you are writing maybe like just like total volume, and if I write it together, it will not really make sense, just because, just like to make my code readable, because the goal one of the goal is writing a code that is readable, like other person can read it on your behalf. Maybe you are not there, you don't necessarily need to be there, or maybe you are collaborating with others, so you have to write a code that is readable. And how you can write a code that is readable is just like this name underscore name of student. If I write it together just like this, you will see that it will not really make sense, and when this is getting too long, it may be you can be like it may cause anybody that is collaborating with you to be confused, and it may be difficult for them to really read what you are writing. But if you just use name underscore, so anytime, because while naming a variable there must not be a space, and if you want to do something like this, the best thing is to use underscore in between them so that to demarcate the space. If you use underscore, there will not be error. Just like if I said print, can you see now? It gave me print Victor. And also many values to a variable name. So I can assign as many value as possible. Just like A, comma B, comma C. I assign 40, 30, 20. So I can assign many value to variable name. Though the left hand side and the right hand side must be equal, because if I use maybe like if I remove one out of it now, if I said if I remove, so there will be error. So the left hand side and the right hand side must be equal. When this is just like you are unpacking, like you can assign as many variable name or many value as you like, but always take note that they must like always let them to be equal. And also outputting multiple variable, you can actually output multiple variable, just like item 1 is book, item 2 is pen, item 3 is bag. Then I try to output everything together, though I am able to do that by using a plus sign. So I'm trying to add them together, though just because this is not numeric, it will not add. It's just like 2 plus 2 equals to 4, but this one will just bring them all together. So that's why I'm able to see, you are able to see book is item 1, pen is item 2, then bag is item 3. So you are able to see them clearly underneath. And this variable name that we've been talking about is into two types. We have global variables and local variables. Though this, we can only demonstrate this or implement this when we reach the topic called function. So global variable is just like a variable outside the function, while local is the one inside the function. So we can call out the one outside and the one inside when we get to that particular topic. But I'm just letting us know that variable is divided into two, we have global and local variable. So after explaining all those, we are moving on to operators in Python. Operators are used to perform operations on variables and value. In the example below, we use the plus, just like operators in, like we are familiar with arithmetic operators, but in Python we have different kind of operators, and I'm going to explain them and show us how we use some of them. Just like print 2 plus 2. So I'm using plus, like this one is arithmetic operator, that is addition. So to add together two value, and when I said print 2 plus 2, it gave 4 as output. Then also this work just because this is number, though when I get to data type I'm going to show us the different data type that we have, but let's just take this first as a number. Let's just because is what we are familiar with before, let's take it as number. 2 plus 2 give us 4, but once anything that is inside the quotation, it's just like instead of that plus to perform arithmetic operation, is going to bring that value together, just like 2 2 in the second one, just because it's inside a quotation mark. But the first one is a normal number, that's why we are able to see 4. So like now num1 is a variable name, like I've been explaining. So I assign 34 to num1, then I gave, like this is a container that I stored this 34 inside, and num2 is a container that I stored 30 inside. Then I try to print this num1 plus num2 to give us 64. Just because it's a number, it perform arithmetic operation, which is addition. So then now I listed all the operators in Python, that like operators in Python that we can use, and maybe as we go down the line we'll try to implement them, and maybe when we start writing complex code You're going to see them and you will not just be surprised that wow, this thing exists. So I just want to brief us and let us know. So the first arithmetic operator is like the first operator is arithmetic operators. Then we have assignment operators, we have comparison operator, we have logical operator, we have identity operator, we have membership operators, we have bitwise operators. Then also, like, after explain, like I said, the first one I'm going to try to show and give examples and try to implement them writing code is arithmetic operators, like Python arithmetic operators. Though we are all familiar with this, it's just that the way we use them in Python can be different from the one we know, just like in mathematics. And I know everybody is familiar with math. So the first one is addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, we have modulus, we have exponential, then we have floor division. This floor division is just like type of, because division also has a type. So floor division is one. So let me start by showing us addition. Addition, as we all know, is a plus sign, just like adding a value to a value. So like x, I store x is a variable name that I store 39. Y is a variable name that I store 37. So and I'm trying to add them just like we know in normal mathematics. So print x plus y and it gave us 79. You can use your calculator or just calculate it manually. Maybe Python is correct or maybe Python is wrong. So x equals 39, y equals to 37. Print x plus y. So and the result we are able to see now is 74. This is just how we use it. Though this is how it works while you are when you are working with numbers. But when it comes to text, like when it comes to letters, so instead of it to add, it will bring them together, and in which we call in Python, we call it concatenation. So this is concatenation, like F name plus last name. Just like my first name is Abayomi, last name is Abiodun. Like this is a variable name that I store this Abayomi, and this is also a variable name that I store Abiodun. So if I use this plus on this text or this, let me just say text or letter, so it instead of you to add it, it's going to concatenate it. So when you are talking about number, it will add them to perform that arithmetic operation. But when it comes to alphabet or comes to letter or text, so it's going to concatenate them. Then subtraction, just like we know in maths. So num1 39, num3 70. So I just try to implement it by minusing num1 from num3, and I can see this is the result. Everybody can see that this is the result, just 39. And also multiplication. So num1 equals to 23. Just like the way I'm assigning variable to, like I'm assigning a value, like I'm storing a value inside a variable name, and I'm storing this. So I store this 23 in num1, I store 14. So when I call them, like I just try to implement them by multiplying num1 multiplied by num2, and it gave me 920. So I can actually change this. I can just say 2. So if I change this num1 equal, so if I you can see now, it said like it's just like 40 times 2, and it gave me 80. So now if I'm now working with numbers and text, just like IJAN and name equals to IJAN, then numbers of students is 50. So I want to multiply name, which is IJAN, multiply by numbers of students, and you can see, just like if I said 5 now, you see it, this IJAN appears 5 times. Like I'm working, like I'm just trying to multiply like text with, so instead of it to do the normal multiplication, it just multiply it show it in that times, just like give IJAN in 5 times. So if I change this to 10 or 15, let me say 15, it's going to show me 15. So if I said, okay, let me even say 150, you will see. Can you see now? Can you see now? So if I like, once I'm increasing it, it's going to be showing it in multiple times. Then If I try to multiply number multiply by number, just like the way I did it the first time, so 10 times 10, it will give me. And also, while working with system or computer, I think generally we use asterisk for multiplication, not the normal times sign, but we use asterisk. Let's take note of that. And division, like I said, division is divided into two. We have float division and we have floor division. So anytime you use a single slash, like the normal division we use, we call it float division. Like number one is 30, number two is 90. So I use that slash, like number two divided by number one. So anytime you use a single slash, that is a float division. So anytime it gave you, like, the result you will see will has a decimal. We always have a decimal point, and anytime you see a decimal point in any value, that's a float. So though is a data type, and I will still explain that. So anytime you see a double slash, that is a floor or integer division. So num1 equals 30, num2 equals to, so like this, instead of this to give me an output of 3.0, it gave me 3. We call this to whole number. We call it integer, not a float, though they are data type, and I'm going to explain it down the line. Then num1 equals to 30, then num2 equals to, just like, equals to 95. Print num2 divided by num1. We can see that it gave 3. It gave so if I try implementing this, we can see this. So if I just put another slash here, you see that it eliminates all those 0.16665. So we don't see it again, we only see 3. So anytime you use the double slash, that's floor or integer division. And when you use a single one, the result will have a decimal point that we call float data type, and we call it flow float division. So modulus, like percentage sign that we are all familiar with, but in programming language, though I don't really sure of what other language call it, but Python will call it modulus, and the function of it is remainder. Just like this 7 divided by 3, it will only consider the remainder part. Just like how many times 3 can goes in 7, so it will goes in 2 times and it will remain 1. So remainder 1, and that's the output we see just like 1. Print 7 modulus 2. So we call this percentage sign modulus. So, and I try to use 10 modulus 7 too. So 7 can goes in 10 in 1 times, and the remainder will be 3. So, and that's what we see. So we can try on our own, try to implement and try to change those values and put in any value we like. Then exponential, just like we know, raised power something like 2 raised power 5 or 2 raised power. So exponential in programming language, we use double asterisk. So anytime you are working with, just like this is 2 raised power 3. So anytime you are working with exponential, we use 2 asterisk. We use double asterisk. Just like 2 raised power 3 will give us 8. So anytime you are working with, the sign of exponential is 2 asterisk. And also 7 raised to power 2, like it's just like 7 times 7, it gave us 49. So assignment operator, like we've been seeing it so far, that when I want to store a data inside a variable, I'm using equals to, though we know it in our mathematics or anything we do as equals to, but in Python we call it assignment operator. So, and is usually used for assigning a value to a variable, just like IJAN is assigned to a name and 70 is assigned to X, just like this. So FName is, IJAN is assigned to FName using this equals to that we call in Python assignment operator. The duty is assignment, like it's assigning IJAN to FName, while is assigning 70 to X here too. So now I want to explain what built-in data type. I've been talking about the one with decimal, the one that is like that does not have a decimal, and some of you may not really understand what it means. So in this data type, I will try to let us know the name and how they use them and why those things are happening. So just like anything I said, anything inside, okay, let me just say text type as string. This str means string, and anytime you are working with numeric type, so in numeric type we have integer, we have float, and we have complex number. Then while in sequence type we have list, tuples, and range. Then in mapping type we have dictionary, while in set type we have set, like just like normal set we are used to in our mathematics days. Then we have boolean type, which can be true or false. Anytime you are working with true or false, that's you're working with boolean. So I'm going to show us everything how. So I'm starting with str, which is string data type. So anything that is inside a quotation mark, or maybe like a text, let me just say a text is a string value, but anytime anything that is inside a quotation mark is always a string data type. Just like name is equals to Emmanuel, school is equals to Ijan, course of study equals to Python. So this Python is a string data type, while Ijan is a string data type. Emmanuel is a string data type. And we can see I try to print them, print name, it gave me Emmanuel. Then I try to print type name, it gave me class string, just to confirm. Then I print school, it gave me Ijan. Then print the type, it gave me str. And then I try to print Python, it gave me Python and str. So we can also try using other things, other value. Then I try putting a number inside quotation mark, and I can see that it gave me the 34 and also gave me, and on the norms, if I just say, okay, let me just say let me just can you see now, it print 34 and it gave me integer, but immediately I use immediately I put this inside a quotation mark, it turned the nature, like the data type, to str, which is string. So anything, even if you put a number inside the quotation mark, it's going to change the nature to a string data type. And under numeric, we have integer, float, and complex number. So a whole number without a point. Like if I'm telling you, like if I'm talking about whole number is just like a number without a point. Like this num1, this num1 equals to 34. This 34 is an integer just because it's a number without a decimal point. And anytime you see a decimal point, just like num2 equals to 49.5, this is a float data type. And num3 equals to 3 plus 5j. This is what we call a complex number. But I will try to show us, just like I print num1, then I print the type of num1. It gave me 34 and integer. Then I try to print num2 and type num2, it gave me float, like 49.5, it gave me float. Then I tried to print num3, which is 3 plus 5j, and it gave me complex number. So these are examples of complex number. Complex, just like integer integer is a number without decimal, number with decimal is float, while complex number is just like 3 plus 5j. So we can also learn more about all these functions on maybe Google. Then list data type. Anything that is inside a square bracket, just like square bracket like this, is called list. So it's just like before, we are assigning one value to a variable, but now you can assign multiple. This is just like a collections of items. So we're assigning it to numbers, and also names. We're assigning multiple. This is just like a collections of names, but just because they are inside a square bracket, they are called list. Just like I print numbers, it gave me all these numbers. Then I try to print names, it gave me all these names. and I tried to print the type of numbers and types of names, and it gave me class list. The two of them are list just because they are inside a square bracket. Let's take note of that. So when like tuples is another data type that exists. So anytime something is inside normal bracket, normal parenthesis like this, we call it tuples. So just it's also a collections of items too. Like you can assign multiple numbers, you can put group multiple numbers or multiple items, and it can even be a mix, just like numbers and text or anything. But you can assign, but anytime it's just inside this normal bracket, that means is tuple. And the difference between list and tuple is anything inside the list can be changed after you've input them in this square bracket, but anything inside this tuple, inside this parenthesis, cannot be changed. So we call it, one is mutable. The one that can be changed is mutable, while the one that cannot be changed, like tuple, elements in tuples are like they are immutable. So anything inside tuple can be changed, while any element tuple can be, like anything inside tuple cannot be changed, rather anything inside tuple cannot be changed, while anything inside list can be changed. So that's just the difference between them. Then range just, we use range to just, maybe like you are working with large number and you just want to put the range of that number, just like normal English range. So like it's just like its own function way, just like the way I use it here. R equals to range bracket. It will just give a number in the range of 1 to 20 and type range, but it won't show here, but that's what it does. That's why I use loop here. Though we are not yet there, I will still teach us how to do loop, because we have different kind of loop. We have for loop, we have while loop, and I'm going to show us how to implement them. But here I just try to use this just to show what it really means. Like for I in range 1 2, you see that it prints those range outside, like 1 2 3 4 5. So it display them. This what read function, like this how read range works. Then dictionary is also another data type. So anytime you see something in curly braces, just like this curly braces, just like said, but you see a column in between, because we call this, any value before the column we call it keys, while value after this column we call it value. We call this keys, we call this value. We call, like, name is keys, while highjam is value. Age is keys, 23 is value. Course is keys, while python is value. So this is, anytime you see something like this, we call it dictionary. And you can see I try to print this D, it display this, then I try to print the type, it give me dic. Dic is a short form of dictionary. Then anytime you see something just like normal number or normal alphabet or normal text data inside a curly braces without a column, we call it set. And most of the time this works maybe when you are writing something and you know duplicate can be there, but you don't want to see them, just like the way I repeat 1 1, then I repeat some other value, but when it print them out it eliminate all those duplicates. So this is perfect data type for eliminating duplicates. So this is how it's being written. S equals to curly braces 1 comma 2 comma. So this is just how it works. So print S, then you print it. So it's printed out. You can also try implementing it using different value. So when it comes to Boolean, Boolean is just true or false. So the data type involve true or false, and what we normally use it for is just like comparison. Okay, like now I want to know if 2 is truly equals to 2, and it gave me that it's true. And I want to know if 2 is greater than 3. It knows that 2 is not greater than 3. It gave me false. Then I said print 7 less than 5. Like, is 7 less than 5? Is 4 less than 5? Is 4 less than 5? So he said true. Just it's just like most of the time boolean is just used for comparison, just to check between if two conditions are true or false. Then typecasting. So typecasting is just like you specifying a variable type. So now we've been working with a lot of data type, a lot of, and at times you may want to specify that this is the type of data type you want. That's when typecasting comes in place. So timecasting is you just specifying that this is the type of data type that I should. Just like there may be times when you want to specify a types of to a, on a variable. This can be done with casting. Python is an object-oriented language, so all these things is just, and I've already explained the data type of integer, float, string, and even list, tuples, and other data type. So you can actually cast list to be tuple, and you can cast integer to be float. You can cast a string to be float, or like you can cast them if you, just like now 23 is integer. We know that is integer. We know that 23 is integer already, just like what I've explained from my previous so I can just say type. Okay, let me even use 20, this example below, 20.78. Then if I said type n, it gave float. But here, when I cast this data type by int, it turned it to integer. So you can do this by specifying that particular data type in front of that value. So in front of this nature of 20.78, because anything that has a decimal point is always called a float data type, but I cast it using integer and it turned the type to integer and eliminate the decimal and the value after decimal. Can you see? I try to do it here. Int this. So it's changed them. It changed 20.78 to 20, it changed 48.8 to 48, and it changed this string. This is string. It changed it to integer. So I cast it using that value. And also float. This 20, the nature of 20 is integer just because it's a number without decimal, but I cast it with float to turn this number to float. Then 48 is already a float, so I still cast it. Then this is a string value just because it's inside the quotation, I cast it using float. Then string, I can cast like 20 is integer. I cast 20 with str. I cast y equals to str. I cast this 48. This 20 is integer. I cast it to be string. Then I cast 48.8, which is float, to be string. Then also 550, which is string, to be is already string. Then I still cast it using str. So changing the nature, and we can see that they all display the various data type. Just like this 20 should be integer, but it shows str. This should be float, it shows str, just because I cast the data type using this, like I cast it by specifying it, like specifying the data type this should be. Thank you. Thank you for listening.